Gary's having trouble shooting that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
In other words, we have to pay close.
Well, that's really happening
Today.
they used to have budget and they have interventions. They put interventions.
And then we put it.
That's really.
So is there a dash in it?
Well, I
recognize that. I certainly don't.
Okay. But it helps.
Maybe I was an assistant too, though.
Yeah. I taught the
She was a resource teacher.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Something's
The consolidated.
So I just knew you were going to go
Careful,
see
caps.
afternoon.
And she would be in the same office as Jack.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I got a question for you.
4 and 5?
Yeah. Principals, you just said it's important in the second year.
Oh, yes. Heather.
Oh,
Heather.
like we were just here.
We're back. I mean, she knows she's in her third year, but she's not sure what the current status of that
Is it like
change priority.
We have a
Because they're out. They think they're out of the.
Well, SIG is
That
a
might
different
have
thing
to
than
be
priority.
So they're not
That
in.
was a competitive grant.
Right, so they're not in priority four. That's what we thought.
No, they had that grant years ago, and the money is extended because the federal government gave a waiver of the title.
So we don't think we're
So-
in priority
No,
focus right now.
no.
Well, let's just get you hooked
And
up to
so
the jetpack.
that one question that came up, that
Unless this is
letter
creating a...
said it could be by the state, but it meets requirement.
Hey, we're not going to start right now, but if you have a
But that
map
answers that. Thank you.
can-
That makes me
Thanks,
feel
Larry.
a little bit better at
Yes.
night.
sitting on the right-hand side of the room, will you use the password? Oh, what's the, search for the device. What's the name of the device?
Verizon.
Okay, a Verizon jetpack.
1L.
And then there's two of those.
There's 2 of those.
So which one for 4?
The one that ends in 9.
It's like they choose.
Yep, that one is 5.
Fabulous.
Oh, that one is 5.
Good job. Anyone else having a hard time logging on? Need to have a Mac?
Go to departments and programs. Mine was already on because.
Is that SAS-5?
Yes.
I know nothing.
Because once I'm on there, I just check
capital
letters.
letters?
I get here, do I go to
And
departments
then
and
did you guys figure out
programs?
you can go in, if you can't log on, if you can't get Wi-Fi, did you find a Verizon device? Oh, you're using your phone?
I think we're good. I think we're in.
You're in.
Yeah, it's working now.
So what problems are you
Well, I haven't sent an email on it. I just found it. Paiute has stuff up at the indirect that didn't have it.
Yeah, see.
And she said you already knew about that one.
Oh, good.
He did. Oh,
And the very first,
there you go.
the overview should have.
It is.
Just common grief and so.
No.
I'm gonna write it in my book right now.
Count today.
Yeah. See, Saturday.
Can I check it? Sure, why not?
Should you have to eat yes to it?
Why was this on?
You should have to upload it to, if you're not on that. If it's not, okay, so you could use.
It was like $1,000.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. But it was just enough to make the numbers
Because,
up.
yeah, a lot of them in the UCA, they weren't, it didn't force them to take them. At the Utah grant. We tried to communicate, you gotta put in.
I didn't see him, but I trust that you did.
That's your connection, but you're not getting any.
Right. It does have an warning there, like a
things and I do that, and this indirect goes up by $1, and then there's some rounding things going on.
That don't work the same. Yeah. If you get them all approved, it'd be great.
Yes, it will be.
Is there a date that they have to be able to?
We're supposed to have everything in by November.
Is there anybody else who's still having problems getting Wi-Fi?
I think so.
Something's wrong.
That's like community council.
Turn off the Wi-Fi.
Oh, no.
This SAS 5 should not be.
No, it should be guest. You should be okay on guest.
She actually extended it in addition.
So Keely called me.
Oh, no,
I was gonna say, oh, I went away.
it's like blind.
Did it go away?
No, just blames us.
Is the password?
Oh, there we go, there's a bar down there.
Now, how come I can't find?
Everyone else is online. Password's some incoherent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I should have been sitting there playing with it, so it didn't.
Yeah.
Do you remember about these guys? Like, it felt like you were talking to me. This one here, not that.
Oh, it does?
If anyone
I just have the match. It should work from here.
Don't have a Mac.
not connected to the
Everybody's quiet now.
Good afternoon. I'm Becky Donaldson. I just want to welcome you this afternoon, and then I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to our other staff members who will be leading you through this desktop monitoring instrument training. I just want to thank you for being here, and I know we have some people that indicated they were going to join the meeting online. We are really grateful for everything you do. And I especially want to thank you this year. We know that moving to the new Utah grant system has been challenging for a variety of reasons. We're all learning that system together. It's been challenging for us as well as it has been for you. But we really appreciate everyone's willingness to work through the issues as they come up, to let us know when there are things in the system just not working so that we can go back to our financial operations staff and have them contact the vendor to try to fix some of those issues. We also know that having dual systems this year with some things having to be in the UCA and the rest of it being in the Utah grants has been a challenge. Some people have had difficulty getting their budgets to align because of indirect costs, rounding that happens differently in the systems, and I know that's been frustrating. So thank you for working with us through all those bugs as we all learn this new system together. The purpose of today's meeting is to provide some technical assistance and support in completing the desktop monitoring instrument. And I would like to introduce my staff who are here this afternoon that will be assisting you in this process. We We have a new staff member. This is Tammy Long. Tammy Long joined our team this week. And she is our compliance manager. She's an experienced auditor who's worked for several years at another state agency. So we were really grateful for the opportunity to add Tammy to our team. Just the few days she's been here already, she's been just an absolute great assistance to the rest of us. So we appreciate her being here, and in the future you will be hearing more from her. She will be going out on the on-site monitoring visits, and you'll have a chance to get to know her better. I think most of you know Sandra Grant. She's back here. Sandra is our fiscal specialist. She talks to you frequently about your budgets and reimbursements and those kinds of things, and so she's back here. Leslie Evans joined our team a couple of months ago. She works with school improvement and state school turnaround. Also has a great deal of expertise that has just been such an asset to our team. And Val Murdoch, I think many of you have had an opportunity now over the past year to meet Val and to work with Val. Val has been with us for 1 year now, I think 13 months maybe. And Val is just great. She's our Title I monitoring specialist and is working so hard to try to support LEAs as they complete the desktop monitoring instrument, as they fill out equitable services paperwork and things like that. She's really such a great support to our team, as well as a real benefit here to the agency. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn the time over to Val to come up and do the training. We'd like to remind you that if you haven't been in this room for a while, we don't use microphones anymore. There are microphones embedded in the ceiling, and they're quite sensitive. So they pick up all kinds of little sounds, so ruffling of papers and, you know, tapping your toes or tapping a pencil on the desktop or something, is all of that noise is picked up, and then it impacts the experience that people are having that are participating via the online live stream. So without any further ado, I'll turn the time over to Val. Thank you.
There are a couple of seats right up here, another one right up here. I know I am more comfortable in the back row too, but just if you're looking for a chair. I was really excited as I looked over the list of RSVPs that I knew half of the attendees. So I don't know half. And so what I'd like to do is go around the room and just have you say your name, where you work, which LEA you work for, and how many times you have entered data in the UCA. Not UCA, sorry. Whoa, that's really forefront of my head. The DMI. How many times have you used the DMI? Because we're going to distinguish ourselves between novices and experts, and maybe somewhere in between, because we'll be able to help each other too. All right, let's start down here.
Hi, I'm Lisa Flinders. I'm principal at South Summit Elementary in Camas. And I did it once. That's why I'm here. So I need help.
Welcome, Lisa.
My name is Raven Rylander. I am the Title I Administrative Assistant for Ogden School District, and never. So that's why I'm here.
Welcome, Raven.
I'm Katina Santamaria. I'm the principal, charter director, all of these things. Guadalupe Charter, this is my 3rd year, and I still consider this.
One of those things you do once a year,
Yes.
and so you come back to it and say, what?
Did I do this right?
Yeah.
Is this the same as the one that was up the front?
It's
The attendance log?
okay. It's similar, yeah. Okay. Is there anybody that needs to? Missy?
I'm Missy Mackey-Whiters. I'm the Title I coordinator and at Salt Lake City School District, plus I'm the district athletic director. And I've only done this once, when they threw this in my lap last year.
That's right. We started about the same time, and we were both like, what?
Hi, Becky Paley, Director, Canyon Grove Academy, and I have not entered it.
Annalise Ruiz with Alpine School District, and I've only used the DMI for Title III.
Some experience.
Linda Gardner from Alpine School District, and I have never entered the DMI.
Linda, it's so nice to meet you. Some of you we've talked on the phone multiple times.
I'm Dawn Sorensen. I'm with Nebo School District. I'm a director secretary. This will be my second time.
It's done.
Gary Crittenden with North Summit School District Title I Coordinator, and never.
Hey, welcome, Gary.
Janae Powell, the American International School of Utah, and this is my second.
Sarah Cornea from Rich. I don't know if it's my favorite.
Amy Mitchell, Title I Director, Washington County.
First time.
Lonnie Rounds, Academica West, and a couple times. Atkinson, Academica West, and this is my 5th year, and I think I'm just starting to get it.
There you go. 5 years together.
I'm Larry Abraham. I'm the Federal Programs Director of our Will County School District, and this is my 4th and last time.
Oh.
Why is that? Is it so? Did you quit after the Utah grants? It's like you're done.
I'm going to be collecting 40 years worth of retirement this coming Tuesday.
Congratulations. That's great.
I'm Ben Pugh. This is my 5th year. Like you said, you do it once a year, so I don't know how good I am. I think I'm actually done. I just came to ask a couple of questions, and I wanted to get out of my building. So.
Great. Nice to have you. Where are you, Ben?
You went to River High School
Oh, okay.
on the Ute Indian Reservation.
Yeah.
I'm Thane Smith. I'm from Red Apple Financial. This is, I think, my 3rd year, and I've done it for multiple schools, so whatever times that is.
So Thane, we're going to put in the expert category. Leslie was a former administrator at the charter school, so she's an expert. We're going to put her in the expert category. Sandy is beyond expert with the DMI. And so when we get to the point where you're working individually, then we'll circulate as well. But what I would like to do is go through and identify the things that are going to need to be uploaded this year. That's the first page in your packet. All of these documents are online except for the purple page. The purple page is the only one that, if you're not a paper person, you might want to take with you today. Everything else can be accessed in the ESEA, Federal Programs and Related State Initiatives, on the USBE website. Those of you who have entered information in the DMI know that there are 2 instruments we use each year. One is a cycle instrument that rotates. So 4 cycles. This year we're on cycle 3. And then the cycle that doesn't change is called annual core items. So those are the 2 instruments that we'll review today. Godmother just arrived. Okay, and so Tammy's going to help me out. Tammy has never done the DMI. So I'm hoping that Tammy experiences some errors that many newbies will experience by not seeing things, so that you can see that mistakes are going to happen, but they're easily remedied. 3 things I wanted to review, I want to come back to each time. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so cycle 3, there is a focus priority or CSI notification letter that goes out to parents if a school in your district or a charter school is in your So that's one item that needs to be uploaded. Somehow, cycle 3 has it on, and so does the annual core. You only have to upload the document one time. I'll explain that more when we get to it. Cycle 3 also has the LEA parent-family engagement policy as well as at least one school policy. So if you're in a district and you have 10 elementary schools that receive services, you only have to upload one, but you're responsible for making sure that all of the schools have an updated policy. The fourth item that needs to be uploaded, or third, if you don't have a school that's an improvement, is the compact. Now, those of you who I wrote notes through DCA, I told you that your parent involvement policy would need to be updated to a parent-family engagement policy. And in your packet, there are some frameworks, some checklists that you can go through and make sure that your policies are up to date. I know that I saw somebody's in the UCA, went to their website, and it was called parent involvement, but they had updated it. That was yours, huh? So Lori had updated it in Weber, and the name hadn't changed. And so it was like a simple fix like that. But most of the policies that I've read, especially charter schools, need to be updated. The charter schools a lot of times are just their volunteer policy where they need to have all the components of the engagement policy. The compact has changed slightly too, and examples are in your packet as well. For the annual core, the focus and priority, I told you that it's on there twice. So again, just upload one document. Parent and family engagement, Title I meeting. So everybody should have had a Title I meeting at your charter school or your schools that are receiving services. Some people upload things like, this was our SCC meeting this month, and they just upload those minutes. Well, I want documentation that a Title I meeting actually occurred. So what was the agenda of that? Was it the back to school night? And here were 5 things we talked about when we got to Title I. Is it the actual PowerPoint? Dr. Donaldson heard from the director in Provo who has created a template, a PowerPoint template that she sends out to all of her schools that are receiving Title I services so that they can fill in the blanks and just show it. I mean, not to take away individuality of the schools, but sometimes it's helpful to have structure. So I thought that was a brilliant idea that they're doing in Provo. Equitable services. Some of us have had a lot of fun with equitable services this year. If you're a district that has private nonprofit schools in it, then you need to upload the letter that you sent out to them, as well as the consultation, the checklist. I'll go over specifics when we get to that. On the back of the purple page, supplement, not supplant documentation will need to be uploaded, and Sandy will go over that, as well as comparability, time and effort, and employee certification. So all the things that will need to be uploaded. Any questions on that? All right, Tammy. Let's go ahead and type in USOE. That's the name of my LEA. That's how old the DMI is. We're using USOE. And then we're going to find, scroll up. And we're going to find USOE district. So you would find the name of your LEA. And then how many tools do we have each year that we need to fill out? 2. So you have to ignore one of them if you have 3 showing up. So the way you can find it is it has 18, 19 next to it. So we're going to start with cycle 3. And it's really slow.
Now, did you say I have 3 that have 8?
You have 3? Is one on-site? Just ignore the on-site. Yeah, thanks, Amy. Thank you for asking questions as we go along. Okay, the first thing we do is answer criteria questions. Here is where a lot of people get messed up. You have to answer all the criteria questions. How many do you have to answer? All. Thank you, class. So you cannot use any nones. That could be yes, it could be no, but it can't be none. Otherwise, you won't be able to upload any documentation. So do you have school-wide programs? We're going to say yes. Do you have targeted assist programs? Just for the heck of it, we're going to say yes. So your district might have both types of schools. Your charter may only be targeted assist. So you would answer appropriately accordingly. Then, what do we always need to do in the DMI? Save. Save. Always. So we answer all criteria questions and we save everything. Wait.
Now when I saved, it said unexpected system error.
Did anybody else get that error?
Did it do that? Okay.
Did it work? Leslie or Sandy?
Who got the error? Okay.
Oh,
okay. You got it? Well, at first it said error, but then I hit that.
So the tabs.
Check criteria.
All right, so up here, there are 4 tabs. One is the criteria questions we already answered, and now we're on items. The next thing you need to make sure you do is open the window, so all of the items are visible. So click on Expand All, and then because we've answered our criteria questions, it pre-populates the things that we need to address. However, in cycle 3, everybody will be presented with parent notification, unfortunately. I apologize, I tried to fix that, but there was no fixing it. So we're going to click on that. That's our first document, or it's the first item that we need to address. So this gives us a description of what the indicator is. Upload a copy of the notification letter from at least one school if there are multiple schools, so that we know that those schools are notifying parents. Let me scroll down a little bit more. And right here we see that there are 2 resources. Resources are your friends. On the purple sheet, I skipped over this, but for almost everything you have to upload, it tells you what resources are in the resource tab. So you can look there for documentation. It's the same documentation that you find on the website. So Lisa, you don't even have to go to the website. You can just, right in the DMI, you can find those resources. But please visit the website too.
Okay.
So we'll click on that. The resources. You see a great resource tab. For every. And it gives us a sample parent notification letter. CSI is the new terminology for improvement, and a sample notification letter in Spanish. Okay, so those resources are there. Let's pretend that we have a school that is in improvement. We need to go up. Oh, I'm sorry, let's go down. Yeah. And the way we upload is to go to all documents. All documents is going to give us a plus sign. Required in resources. Yes. And we've got our attached document. So this makes it easy. It also makes it easy on Sandy and me so we can find it easy. You attach it to the actual item so we don't have to go to the file cabinet and just search for whatever file you have in there. So on that. And then it's going to ask us to choose a file. It's nice if you have a DMI upload folder for the year and then just they're all right there. You can just grab them. And then the first thing I have in there is parent notification letter. I'm going to upload that. And come down. I know I'm not done until I save it or attach it. All right. weather person.
So I have a question really quick. So we are not a school improvement or school focused school. So did I push the wrong button?
No.
So
for some reason, it's showing up on cycle 3.
So do I?
Everybody.
So do I ignore that one? How do I?
Yes, let me go back to that. I'm going to do both scenarios.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And let's come down and make sure it's there. It's there. Parent notification letter is there. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to edit. Edit button right here. Edit. No, you had it. It's right in the middle of the page. Yeah, and over to the right. And then I have to change the status. If I have done everything I should, what do I mark it? Meets requirements. Now, let's say that I'm in Lisa's situation. I don't have schools in improvement. What can I mark it instead of meets requirements? Not applicable. So let's change it, or not monitored. Not monitored. Yeah, it's all your fault. And then put a little note. South Summit does not have schools in improvement. So some of the items you might mark not monitored. Most of them it will either be in compliance or not in compliance. Okay, and then what do we need to do? Save. Save everything. So get us to our next indicator by going to the page and clicking on next item on the right-hand side. And the next item is the parent and family engagement policy. So I go up, I know I have to upload something. Where do I find the tab with the plus sign?
All documents.
All documents. Not sure why it's named that. All documents. I already know that I have my parent and family engagement policy ready to go. But if you look on here, the resources, if I click the resources tab, there's a charter framework that combines the LEA and the school requirements into one document. And then there's the LEA checklist, so you can go through and just make sure your parent and family engagement policy has all the required items. Oh, yeah, click that. There, yeah. Yeah, click on this. 31. 31. 31. There's a green, yeah. Scroll down. Let's just click on resources for the heck of it. The tab, the gray tab with resources. Third tab over, gray tab. Yeah. Scroll down, and that will allow us to see the charter framework and the LEA checklist. Okay, let's go up and edit. The edit button in the middle of the page. And go down so that we can change the status. So if anything is left in progress, it won't allow you to submit it. So if you can't submit, then you know you have done something wrong, like not one of the, you haven't answered one of the items. So let's say meets requirements. And save. And we need to upload, and Janae, right? Janae told us, go to all documents. Hit the plus sign. Attach document. I'm sorry. Let me describe it to you. It's under the tabs.
Can I just get a clarification back on the parent notification for the turnaround schools? In the instructions, it says mark meets requirements. If you don't have a turnaround school?
No, not monitored.
No, I'm telling you, the instructions tell you to enter meets requirements, which is what I did for 17 schools.
Oh, okay.
Should I go back and change that to not monitored?
No. Because if you have meets requirements and I see you don't have schools, then I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Sorry, the instructions say that?
The instructions say the indicator erroneously appears and select meets requirements.
Thank you. Okay, and then choose our second one, our district parent family engagement policy. That. And of course, we need to attach.
We are proposing a new. That has a
The policy actually says
Okay, we see that it's been uploaded, and we're going to up, and we're going to go to next item. The next item is the school parent-family compact or policy. So if you're in a charter school and you've already uploaded it to the LEA, you don't have to upload it again to the school, but you can put a note. You can put meets requirements, and then in the note, you just write see LEA policies. And how many parent-family engagement policies do you have to upload if you have 20 elementary schools? Just one, yes. Okay, let's mark this one, edit. And let's mark this meets requirements. And save it. Tammy's already got it. It took me a long time to remember to save it every time. And then we'll go to the next item. This is our compact. So there are 3 documents if you're a district, the policy for LEA, for school, and the compact. Charters would have 2. So let's look at the resources. What kind of resources are available to us in the DMI, third tab over? Rolling down, we see there's a sample compact for elementary, a sample compact for secondary, and then there's school parent family compact checklist. So if you already have a checklist created, you can just, or you already have a compact created, you can go through the checklist and make sure everything's on there.
For a K through 12 school, do we need to submit elementary and?
No. It would just be up to you. There are some schools that do it for each grade because their third grade teachers want specific things they want the parents to do, they want the students to do. So it would be a parent, it would be the community that would or the committee that would choose. Because the policies are jointly designed with parents and the compact is jointly designed with parents. That's something that I think it's much easier to do, leave out stakeholders and just get it done. But that is the first thing that is required is that it's jointly created. Okay, let's go to all documents so we can upload our compact. Plus sign, yeah. In your packet, again, these are all on the website, but these are the sample compact. This one is the elementary lower grades. This is based on a parent-family compact or a school-parent compact that I got from Cash that I adjusted so it met ESSA requirements as updated. And then there's another one that I got from Intech Charter School that I altered so that it met ESSA requirements. It doesn't have to look like this. It could be a narrative. It could just be parents, bullet points. School, teachers, bullet points. Students, bullet points. Design it the way that your school community sees fit. Any questions on the compact? Okay, you're already ready to upload my fictitious elementary compact. Yes, the fourth one. It's there. We need to go up and we need to edit. Make sure that we have changed the status to requirements. And Tammy's saving it. Now we're almost finished with cycle 3. We are finished with cycle 3. Let's go to the next item. Oh, this is teacher qualification, sorry. This one does not have an upload. This one, we just need to make sure we're doing this. We need to make sure that parents are notified they have the right to ask about the qualifications of their child's teacher. They need to be notified of any teacher that is not licensed by the state of Utah, does not meet licensure requirements. And you already changed that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. You're going to change it?
You want me to edit it?
Yeah. Going to meet the requirements. It's always nice to read comments in the box. Those are optional, but it's nice to know what you're thinking. So if you have time to type stuff in there, great. If you don't, we understand.
Do we need to upload our drafted letter in case that happens at our school? Do we need to upload that letter that does inform parents, or do we just say that we do inform parents? Do you know what I mean?
That one you don't need to upload.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you have documentation for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And save.
Okay, let's go to the next item. I guess we're not finished. Oh, we're not. And, on-site visit. So this one I changed this year. If you have an on-site visit scheduled, meets requirement. If we came last year and you don't have to worry about it for a year or 2 or 3, then you're going to put not monitored. People have left that one without answering it because they don't know. So if you're not sure if you have an on-site monitoring visit, go to the website, there's a list, or check with me after.
So you want to edit?
We're going to edit. Let's say that we don't have an on-site visit, so we're going to say not monitored. Meets requirements because we've already scheduled it, yes.
And if we don't know, we're going to which website?
Yes. Or you can ask me. I don't think you do.
I don't think we do, but I don't think you came last year. 2 years ago. So what do I do with that? Does that just says
yeah, I'm pretty sure AI is not happening.
Okay, so then
Is it every 4 or 5 years?
Currently it is every 5, but that's shifting to a more risk-based assessment process. Yes. Now we don't have a next item, so we're finished. So let's go to LEA overview. And we're going to look at our tool and see if it's ready to submit. Go to, click on cycle 3 again. It's the second tool, second line.
It's their secret website. I need to. She said to check a website.
Scroll down. So we're going to check our work, and over here we're going to make sure that we don't see in process or in progress. So not monitored meets requirements, meets requirements, meets requirements. We scroll down a little bit more, and not monitored. So here's the third thing I want you to take away from today. So we know we have to answer how many of the criteria questions? All of them. And we have to do what? Everything. Say everything. The last thing to remember is just because you click submit does not mean you're done clicking. You have to click again. Okay, let's go up to the top. And change status to submitted. You'd think you'd only have to click that once. But no, you have to click it and let it spin. And then you have to confirm by clicking submit again. So many people click that one button and then just leave it hanging there and don't understand why I haven't received it. So you click that? It's spinning. It's spinning. Okay. So that's after each instrument, yes. 2 instruments. Okay, we're ready to go on to cycle, or the annual course. So if you'll go to UNSW District or LEA Overview, go to annual core items. Are there any questions right now? Because it's going to be very similar in the annual core items.
Now, this is probably a really silly question, but when you talk about a school in focus, are you talking about last year or this coming, going?
That's not a silly question at all. That's a very complicated question. If you have schools that were in improvement at the beginning of the school year, the letter should have already been sent out, so you can upload that. If you have a school that's going to be designated under the new designation of CSI, then that would happen around December.
But we may not have that when we submit it.
Right. So what you would do is go in and upload it later, or make sure that that letter is drafted, sent out, and you can upload that for next fall.
But they were already in, and then yes, we have one in. And if they come out in December, that was what I understood from my predecessor. They possibly will be out.
Then write a note that, yeah, if you figure that. You're safe to upload the letter that got sent out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we had a school that was designated last year, but then we received a letter that they're out, do we upload the letter that they're out?
Okay, they were out at the beginning of the school year?
No, they're just out recently, like end of October, middle of October.
Yeah.
Oh, how did
so,
so where did you get that information?
It was mailed to us, a letter.
I don't think that needs to be uploaded in the DMI.
No, they exited turnaround status. So
no, we have turnaround.
Oh, that's different than.
We're talking about focus priority.
I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. Focus and priority. Got it. Thanks, Rebecca.
To your question about, I would just think of it as one calendar, one school year. So they sent the letter because they were still in focus and priority for this year. Right, one school A was focus and priority. The letter should have gone out to parents acknowledging that they're a focus and priority school, right? The whole school year goes by, summer new schools are identified in December.
So,
but that doesn't happen and doesn't need to be uploaded till DMI until next
cycle. So we're going off, that was my question.
I
So
would
we're
look
really
at it
going
that
off
way.
last year's information. Okay.
Because that was uploaded.
Sent out as soon as possible.
Okay.
In December or January, whatever. Okay, how would you like to proceed? Do you want to do this every step by step now, or do you want to just work?
No, I'd like to do the next one. If that's
Okay. Any other recommendations?
I like the way you're going. I mean, it's easy for me to follow along, so.
Too tedious? Okay. All right, now we're on annual core. And what's the first thing we need to do for annual core? We need to answer all the criteria questions. Okay, now, as you can imagine, there are a lot of configurations here. So you could be a single charter, you could be a district with school-wide and targeted assist schools. So I'm going to arrange it one way. If you want to go back and have me arrange it another way, that's okay. But I'm going to arrange it the way that will include the most schools or most LEAs. Okay, are there any private schools? We're going to say yes. Oh, by the way, do you see how tricky this is? None is moved over here under yes, so you don't need, you think this dot over here is for no, but it's for none. So you have to move it to the left of no for no, and to the left of yes for yes. So that has thrown people off. So are you a charter school serving a single site? We're going to say no to that, but you would say yes if that fits your description. Are you a charter with more than one site? No. Are you a district, not a charter? Yes. You have schools and focus on priority, we're going to say yes. You provide services, we're going to click yes. We're equitable services to private nonprofit schools. And does your LEA receive 500,000? There are charter schools in here saying 500,000, we're going to click yes. And is your LEA scheduled for an on-site visit? We're going to click no on that one.
Val?
Title III is next year.
We meet with our private schools and we offer services, but they always decline them. So would that be a no? Offer to provide them, but they say no. So
yes.
We would say no.
So you would say no.
Okay.
Yes to the no. That makes sure. That's correct. And of course, we have to save this. And we're ready to go to our first indicator on annual core. After it stops spinning. Oh. You scroll up while you're doing that. So to annual title items under the tabs. To the right of that, yes. We're just there in items. Sorry, I threw you off. Okay, we're there now. So scroll down. Now, anybody remember what we did on the cycle 3 before we started? Yes, expand all the windows, all the items, because it's easy to skip over them if we don't. So LEA accountability report card, we know that those have not come out. So on this one, it'll be right around this time this is due. So you could put in meets requirements as long as you put a no. This is our process. This is what we usually do. So you clicked on that? Oh. Let's edit that. There's nothing to upload. You don't have to upload the documentation of that. We'll change it to meets requirements. And we'll type in what we do. We send out a report card, an LEA report card. Each school sends out a school report card. We post it on our website. Hand out copies at parent-teacher conference. Whatever you do to get the word out. And then we have to save. Move on to our next item. Item, can you scroll up? Let's see what this is. Our LEA plan. This one, you just have to verify that you have created a plan that includes parents, teachers, stakeholders. You do not have to upload that plan. That plan should have been uploaded in the UCA. So we will go to edit. Yep, you're already there. And we are meeting requirements. And then we'll save that.
You want us to put CUCA?
No, because we know whose UCA has been approved and whose hasn't, so we have that information. Yeah.
All right, so once again, so for the annual LEA plan, we are not uploading anything.
Right, that was in the UCA.
And my question about which plan is that?
That's the Title I plan, the school-wide plan. I know, that's a good question.
Okay, because if we've already uploaded it in the UCA, then we just put meets requirement.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Even write uploaded into UCA or just?
Do not, but some people like to send us those notes, and Sandy and I are always happy to get those notes. It's like, oh, they cared enough to write in the box. Okay. So, or did we edit that already? Yes, we did. You're ready to go on the next item? And so you have to confirm that Title I's are just used in eligible schools. So this is probably not populating for charter schools.
Right. That's why.
So I answered the questions in a way that would allow everybody to see what they needed to do. But if you get confused, please let me know, because it's the number of configurations that can happen. And we need to edit, yes. Say we, I mean you. We are doing that. We can move on to the next item.
We have to add anything.
Unless you want to. The box is almost always optional. So if you think you put not monitored on something and you want to explain why it's not monitored, please do. Measure of poverty. So on this one, how do you use the same measure of poverty to identify the low income percentage in the schools? Are they ranked appropriately? This goes back to the UCA. So if you've done this in the UCA as a district, then you can meet requirements, and that's easily checked as well. Charters is probably not populate for you. Requirements. Go to the next item. If we do save, see, you're so much better at this than I am. The homeless set aside. So you found out in the UCA that your homeless set aside has to be at least the same amount, if not more, as your PPA. So as long as that happened, then you can put meets requirements here.
You have a preference on charters where they don't have to do the homeless set aside? Do you want us to put not monitored, or does meets requirements answer it? Because there isn't a requirement.
Set aside.
Charters are not obligated to set aside funding for homeless.
UCA?
Correct. We do it. We have to put the number in, or we can't close it.
Yes.
But we don't actually have to hold back money for homeless students. So meets requirements is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we don't have homeless students, we hit meets requirements, or do we hit not monitored?
You choose, and then in the box you can indicate why. But the fact that you're in compliance on the UCA, that's what we're
in
basing
compliance
it on.
here.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Curious, why would a charter, because they're publicly funded, not have to set aside a homeless set aside?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I think it's such a small bit of money. It's not much for a charter.
They'll have the children.
Of course, and we serve the children. We absolutely serve the children.
That was.
I just don't want to put yes on something.
Next. Neglected, this one is new. So if you happen to have any neglected delinquent students, I don't know if any LEA that I reviewed had that in their UCA, but there is a line item for neglected, and there is a set aside for neglected.
Val, what is that? Neglected, like they're in a foster care situation, they're in a, what is that?
Could it be a day treatment?
Like a treatment facility?
Yes. Part D.
Yeah, it's Title I, Part D. So students that are neglected and delinquent in a community day program for students that are neglected and delinquent.
Okay.
Utah has a lot of money for like youth in custody that other states don't have, and so it may not be an issue.
So our students that are in that situation aren't in that situation for a year. They're like a couple weeks or a couple months and then back out. So it's hard to know what to put in because you're asking me for a year review, but I might have 2 kids this year. I might have 6. I just guessing,
yeah, I think in Utah it's really sort of a
not
as big an issue as it is in other states that don't have state money going toward those programs.
So it sounds like you're providing them
if they need assistance.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, edit that. Meets requirements or not monitored, whichever one you think best describes your situation. Okay, plan revision. So this one is for schools that are focused on priority, who have needed to revise their improvement plan. This one I actually thought I had taken off. So this one, don't worry about this one, because Max and Leslie are going to be doing this part. And this will not be uploaded to the DMI. So I apologize.
For now?
Yeah, not monitored, and that's item number.
What's it called, you said?
Yeah, will you scroll up there? Plan revision, number 28. So I will go in there and take that off. Okay, going on to the next item. So again, for focus priority schools, identified. This says targeted support. You could ignore that. The LEA ensures to provide technical assistance to schools. So if you are meeting that requirement, then you're going to change the status to meets requirements.
So that's for both focus priority and comprehensive.
Did that upload on yours?
I can't.
Yeah.
So it's for both, or
it's more for the district. And next item. Okay, this is where that item is repeated again, so parent notification. If you've already uploaded in cycle 3, you could put meets requirements here and just write a little note, please see cycle 3. If you want to write the note in cycle 3 and say, please see annual core items, that's fine. Going to the next one. Parent-family engagement set aside. So this is where districts that get over $500,000 have to set aside at least 1%. You can set aside more, but at least 1%. So if this populated for you and you don't get over $500,000, then you need to go back to the criteria questions and change it to no. But if this is true for you and you are in compliance, then you edit it. You don't have to upload that documentation, you just put meets requirements. And again, that's one of the set-asides on the UCA. Title I meeting. So this is what I mentioned at the beginning. It can't just be some SCC agenda. It needs to actually refer to Title I meetings. If you have multiple schools, then choose an agenda, choose minutes, choose the PowerPoint of one of those schools to upload. But make sure that all schools are holding their Title I meetings. Let's go to attached documents here, because this is one we have to go down to the gray tab, all documents. And let's find that plus sign, attached document, file, And then I'm going to go find, see if I have Title I annual meeting presentation. So on number 5. Upload that. So now my PowerPoint of our Title I meeting has been attached. Go on to, oh, we need to, I would totally have skipped that. Okay, edit. Requirements.
If it's in both Spanish and English, do you want both versions?
Claro que sí.
That's a yes. I saw that.
You know, that's bonus points, JM, bonus points.
Well, I'll get any kind of points I can, so we'll keep going.
Just don't break the DMI by uploading too much. Okay, we are on the next one. Okay, here's our private nonprofit schools consultation. So those of you who have gone through this, whatever letter you came up with, drafted, then you would upload it here. So if you sent out letters, Amy, and then they told you, no, we're not interested, then here is where you would just upload that letter. Right here in resources, let's see the gray resource tab. Let's see what's available in resources. Bottom. And there's a sample invitation to consult for private nonprofit schools. I think it was Raven that called and said, hey, do you have something like this? And I was like, no. So that got created. And so this is here for February, maybe. That's when consultations start again, even though some of you just finished with those. So you can review that. It's also on the website. So let's go to all documents. We'll go to the plus sign so we can add a document.
But what if they don't reply to
I would follow up with a phone call or an email. Yeah. Diligence as much as you can. You need to save. You're so good. Okay, well let's leave that because that will be good for us to look at. Okay, next item. This one, let me go through. I talked to some of you about this. Some of you have private schools that say, okay, I want to meet. I think this happened to Lori. I want to meet. They sit down with you, and then they're like, really? That's all the money? That's all the services we're going to get? Well, we can't deal with all the hassle with that. So we choose not to participate. And so if they refuse right out to even come to the consultation meeting, you're going to put them all in table 1, all their names in that first box. In fact, let's go to the resource so I don't have to draw in the air. It's not there. Let's be no, sorry, then the next. Let's skip to next item. Down there. So previous item. And item again. Let's go down to resources. Yeah. Should be. So this first box right here, if there are no PNP, private nonprofit schools interested in consultation, then you'll just check that box and then scroll down a little bit. And you're going to put all the names of the schools that did not choose to consult in that first box. If you had schools that chose to consult, then you would well, actually, you're going to describe how you contacted them and the meeting date, and then if anybody did attend that meeting, what the contents of the meeting were. Okay. Talked about. So your choices would be the first two boxes. The first box, nobody responded, nobody came. The second box, they came, they heard, they said no, thank you. Okay. The third box is they came, they heard, and they said yes, please. And that's when you would go through and finish the rest of the document. Now, if you check the second box, make sure you go to the end and have them sign it when you scroll to the end of this document. And here, you need to make sure that they had timely and meaningful consultation. And you'll sign it, if they'll sign it, you'll sign it. And then they can agree or disagree that it was meaningful and timely. Questions on that? Back to first tab. Oh. Yeah, we can go to that first tab, the DMI tab. So let's go to edit. And requirements. We might be loading 2 or 3 of those documents in, right? So if I have a document that has all the ones that said no thanks on it, then they're all in table 1. I upload that one. And then I have one school that said yes, please, and I fill out the whole checklist and I upload it for them. So each private nonprofit that says yes, we'd like services, you're going to upload a checklist for. Questions on that? Ready to go to the next one? I know we didn't upload anything to that, but you get the idea. This is where we're going to make sure that the private nonprofit school children are receiving similar services. Next item. Oh, whoops, we need to edit. Almost ready for our fiscal. I have one more.
Next.
Yay! Okay, now Sandy gets to share what to do for the last ones. And these are on the back of the purple sheet.
This is where the fun starts.
Yes.
Maintenance of effort. That is a spreadsheet that I get every year. And if you did not make maintenance of effort for the year, I would have sent you an email that said, you didn't make it this year. Following things are going to happen. So if I have never sent you an email, this is always meets requirements and we move on. Okay? Meets requirements. Don't forget to save. Next item. This is the one that gives people the most headache. There are 2 separate documents for comparability. One of them is strictly for charter schools that only have one school. Okay, so if you answered your criteria questions correctly, then you should be able to go down to the bottom where it says resources, click on that, and the correct form should be there. Okay, so if you only have one school and you're a charter, it's a simple one-page thing that says what's your name, what's your address, what's your phone number, did you answer these questions, How many, what grade levels do you serve? How many students do you have? It's really simple. Okay? I don't know, let's see, which one is this? Let's click on the download. Yeah.
Charter school, but you only have. The one.
Which doesn't have the form on it anymore?
Go down it, I mean,
Is it further down?
there's a part of a form that says like
No.
school environment.
Are you talking, this is for SMS, right?
Yeah, but they still have to have the other one too, to show that they follow it. Okay, so.
That's the excerpt out of the new handbook that has the methodologies and all the accepted
I know.
methodologies.
But we're still looking at the form to make sure they're following the policy. So the new policy says that if you've got more than one school, then you have to provide equitable services to every single school. Okay? Title I or not. So what they're asking for to begin with is, what is your written plan? It has to be written. Okay? It can't just be in somebody's brain that says, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So it's going to tell us what you allocate out of state and local funds for every school that's in your district. Now, there may be different funding sources for elementaries, for secondaries, for middle schools, for junior highs, and that's okay as long as it's equitable across the way. Yes?
Is that the same thing as the comparability report?
Sort of. Okay. This is the supplement, not supplant part. It's not really the comparability report, but it's used to.
If we supplement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what this has to be is a written plan. So make sure that your district has a written plan on how they allocate state and local funds. You know, do they give so much money for a principal at every grade school? Do they do a principal and a vice principal at junior highs or high schools? How do they separate that? How many teachers do they have per however many students? How do they allocate funding for materials and supplies that are basic, they're the same for every single school in the district? Okay. So the comparability report that we did before says, okay, here's what I did. Here's what my Title I schools got. Here's how many teachers they got. Here's what their average per student ratio is. Here's how much money we spend per student in their allocations. And it should match your written plan. It should be the same.
So just to the follow-up, sorry, but when, because I remember when I did the comparability, I would supply the additional documents of how we allocate our money, how
So that's what this is.
So
You
it's
allocate.
the supplemental documents that I submit with that. Okay, got it.
So you upload this document to the DMI this year, telling you how you do it. Now, the comparability report actually says, yeah, we really did this. This is how much we did. This is what we did. So that we can make sure that what you say you're going to do and what you actually do are the same. Okay. So if you're a charter school and you have more than one building that is not adjacent to each other, then you have to do the long one.
Would we find this written document that you're?
It should be. Yeah. If not, you better have your superintendent be busily writing one.
I went to the HR director, she'll give it to you because she has, or he, sorry.
They have it.
They have it, and then they have a whole write-up of exactly how they allocate the FTE, their class sizes, and all of that. And then your business manager has a sheet, one sheet that he can provide you, how he or she provides the funding allocation for each school based off the WPU. And they both can just give that to you. You don't have to do.
So what hopefully this shows is that any Title I money that they get then is over and above what they would normally get as just a regular school in the district. Okay? So that's the new supplement, not supplement rule. Questions? Yes, no, maybe? Not sure. Questions? Everybody has to do this one. Okay? This one's mandatory.
Quick question.
Where was that form for charter schools?
It should be, if you have clicked on that, a single charter school down in your resources, it should pop up.
Click on 45. See if 45 is the one you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking for, but the resources on 45 just has the comparability report.
Oh, okay.
Comparability.
We may
So,
have to upload those
comparability is
again
next.
and put those in there. But there should be a one-page comparability report for charter schools. And we'll make sure that gets uploaded. Other questions? Yes? No? Okay.
Do you want this in?
Yeah, let's just do it as we go on. Remember how to attach?
Sandy, I think it's on resources on number 45. Whatever you need is there. The documents, yeah, on 45. So when you get there, take a peek.
Yes. For next year, like I said.
Oh, this is a supplement, not supplant. Okay. Next item then is, okay, this is the comparability report. So this one says, did you follow what you did? Oh, okay. I'm behind the time. So go down here to resources. Open that one up. Now this is for more than one school. See this? And there's actually two ways you can show comparability in this case. There's the yes, no answers down here. Electronic signature is fine on this one. Keep going. Okay, so now this one is the number of schools in your whole district. How many do you have all total? How many of them are Title I? How many of them are not Title I? So that if you add these two together, you get the total number of schools in your district. Okay? We have a lot of people that can't add. So be careful with this. Smaller and larger is your discretion. Okay? So let's say that you have an elementary schools, one has 300 kids and another one has 500 kids. So the 300 could be the smaller one, 500 could be the larger one. You can lump them both together if you want. It doesn't matter. That's your choice. Okay? Next one. Okay. Here's where we come in with the, this is option one, and this is the one that most LEAs use. Okay? So, this is non-Title I. So, name of the school, what's the grade span, how many are enrolled, how many FTE, how much money did you spend on curriculum, how much did you give per student. That should match the plan that was in the previous one. Okay? They should match. Then the second page is your Title I schools. Okay? Same things. What's the school, what's the grade span, how many students, all of that kind of information. that's in there. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2, and there are a few people that do option 2. This looks like, this includes salaries of all of your teachers. Okay, so here's the name of the school, the grade span, how many students, and how much money are you spending on faculty. Okay, and what's your cost per student. And then again, it's the curriculum materials. Most LEAs find it's easier to do teacher-student ratios rather than salaries per student. They usually find that's easier, especially with so many salary differentials. Questions? Yes.
On the option 1, do you take October 1 for the number of FTEs, the number of children? Okay.
Yep. That's the official Title I count, is October 1. Questions? Now, download this, fill it in, and then upload it back. Not that hard.
Last year,
So she says.
form was not user-friendly for me, and I couldn't get it to work properly when I downloaded it. So I just made some Google spreadsheets, and then I turned it into tables, and then I inserted the tables in the report, and I think it was accepted okay, because I've turned it in now a couple times. It has all the exact information, so now I can just go into my Google, copy it, adjust it, and then I just enter it into the document.
Large number of schools often do that.
Yeah,
if you're
it's so
small
much easier.
LEA, it's not
so much easier.
Not much problem to do this one. Other questions?
Can I share one thing I learned?
Sure.
Is because you do it for the last year, right? After you do it, if you've got it all there, you do it at the same time period because that's for last year. Your HR has got everything all finalized, so any October 1 adjustments have already been made. I just then did it again for this school year, for last year, so it's been sitting in my queue. So as soon as we did the Utah grants, I already uploaded it because it's done. So then in January, I'll do it again, so then you don't have to try to hustle it when it's this time. I just do 2 years at once. Do the previous
That's
year,
often helpful.
Yeah.
And sometimes BAs get to be a pain sometimes.
So then I just want to clarify, is it October 1 of 18 that you want option 1, or is it October 1 of 17?
It's last year.
Okay, October of 17. I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
And that's why that's why I could do.
Because you don't know how much you're going to spend this year.
No.
But you should have all your final numbers from last year. Okay? So this is last year's data. Other questions? No?
Last year's data.
Out of this one?
Yeah. We can just say means.
Just need something to be the tight's done. Julie.
Next one. All right, time, effort, documentation. All federal funds must have time, effort, documentation. Whether it's Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, no matter what. If it's federal money, you have to have time, effort, documentation for every person that's being paid out of those funds. Okay? There are 2 types of documentation. The first one are for people that are being paid for more than one kind of activity. So this year, let's say you have a paraprofessional that is working for Title I and IDA, but they're doing the same thing. They're both doing tutoring for language arts, math, whatever, but they're doing the same thing. Count that as one activity. But let's say you've got a person that's doing maybe Title I things one time and they're doing something for your regular school plan out of it. 2 different kinds of activities, doing recess duty, doing lunch duty, whatever it is, but they're different kinds of activities. Okay? That's what this one is for. It's for those people who do multiple activities for cost objectives. So with ESSA, unlike No Child Left Behind, you had to do every different payroll thing. With ESSA, all you have to do is they're doing the same activity, we're good to go. But if they're doing different activities, this is the one you need to do. Okay? Now, I don't know, did you put attachments in this one?
Check the resource tab.
Oh, you did. Good. Put the first one. Whoops.
Wait, was that a PDF you clicked on?
Yeah.
That's weird. What was in there? I was going to say maybe it's linked to the website, but if it's a PDF, I don't know why it would do that.
They're both PDFs.
Check the other one, see if that one will open.
Download.
Okay, so let's go back to the multiple things. All right, there are a number of ways you can do that. This is one way that works. It is not the only way. So in this case, they've listed the days of the month. Here's how many hours or minutes that they worked in, let's say, Title I, regular school day, whatever it is, okay? Total minutes. You can also do this by percentage of time, okay? You don't have to do it by hours and minutes. You can do it by percentage of time, okay? Now, in this case, where you've got all of the days listed, you can say this is for June of 2018, but it's got to have a month. It has to show the days, and it has to show the years. So if you're doing percentage of time and you don't do it by each day, then you say, okay, this is from June 1 to June 30th of 2018. It's got to include a beginning date, an ending date, the month and the year. Okay? So depending on how you decide to work that out. Go down to the bottom. Okay. Employee's signature and date, supervisor's signature and date, and these dates have to be after the fact. Okay, so they have to be either the last day of the time period or into the next group of time. They can't be prior to the last day on this list. Okay, for instance, if the last day of this month is the 31st and people signed it on the 23rd, then I cannot pay you for any time between the 23rd and the 31st. Because you have said, well, they're going to do this. You haven't guaranteed to me that they did it. Because you approved it ahead of time. Okay? So make sure that these dates are either the last day that they put in time or the next month. Don't sign them early. That's not allowable.
So if you do percentage of time, though?
Same thing. Because at the beginning, you have to have the month, what days, and the year. So let's say that you're doing, let's say December. You go from December 1st and the last day of school is, say, December 18th. Okay?
Not from a full year, just a month. Okay.
It's just a month. These are done monthly. Okay? No, stay there.
Do you want us to upload all time and effort documents today?
No.
What I want you to do, I might have missed that, sorry.
What I want you to do is upload one blank example of what you're going to use so that I make sure that it has all the necessary parts. When we do monitoring visits, we look at that and we say, well, that's not what you told me you were going to use. They need to be the same. So whatever you put in there, it's got to be what you're planning to use. Okay? Now, they did give us an alternative. You want to see if that other one will pull up? Yeah, let's try. If you have somebody that works on multiple areas, but they have the same schedule every single week. Sure. Okay. So from 9 o'clock to noon, they do this. From noon to 1, they do this. But they have the same schedule for a week, and it doesn't change for, say, 6 months. Then they say that you can do, each month I worked these kinds of hours per day on these kinds of activities, and you must attach a fixed schedule. Okay? Their schedule must be attached to this to be able to use it. Okay? So that means that if we come out monitoring and you've got a fixed schedule, I should be able to go to the room that it says, at the time that it says, and find the person that it says. That's the kind of fixed schedule it is. You've got to be able to find it. Okay? All right. And again, this still has to have dates on it. From when to when are you doing this? So if they have a fixed schedule, that time period could be for as long as they have that fixed schedule, but not more than 6 months. Okay? Even if they have it for the whole year, you can only count 6 months at a time. So the beginning date may be January 1 to June 30th of 2018. They're going to have this schedule for that long. Okay? And they only have to do it twice a year, or have as often as that fixed schedule changes. Let's say you do change every quarter, semester, depending on what kind of school you're running. If that changes, then whenever that date is that it changes, you have to do a new part. You have to do a new one for that new time period, that new schedule. Okay, questions? And again, dated signatures must be after the fact.
For last year's times or this year's
This
times?
is what you're going to use this year.
This year's, okay.
What you're going to use. And again, all I want is a blank document. I don't want millions of them that are already filled out. Okay? I want the said, this is what we're going to use. This is how we're going to use it. Okay? Questions? All right, so if they're doing schedule changes all the time, then they have to do it monthly. If they're on a fixed schedule, maximum number of months you can do it is 6. Questions? Make sense? Sort of, kind of, maybe?
With a fixed schedule and a multi-cost, with both those documents, you could just be submitting one, not both, right?
If you are doing fixed schedule with multiple, those two have to be hooked together.
If you're doing fixed schedule without multiple, you could just be submitting fixed schedule and be
On
done.
a month, every month. Okay, questions? Fixed schedule, maximum amount is 6 months. No fixed schedule, maximum amount is 1 month. All right, let's move on. Just back. And let's just approve it, yeah. Normally, if there's something wrong with the form that you're doing, and I say it needs improvement, I will write you a message to say exactly what it needs. This is what you're missing. And a lot of it has to do with the dates. You haven't put in a beginning and ending date, those kinds of things. Okay, next item. This one is for people that are only being paid out of Title I. They're not getting paid from any other source. 100% of their time and effort is spent on Title I approved activities. Okay. You want to see if the sample's down there? Courses. That's the fixed schedule. So let's go to the other one. That's what I said. Yeah. All right, down. All right, so this one is, if it's just one person, you can say, whoever this employee is, for this time period, and again, this is 6 months, if they're only being paid out of Title I. So you can say this is from July 1 to January 1, whatever that 6-month period is. And the days, 1st of July to the end of December, whatever those are, and which year. If it crosses years, you got to put both of them in there. Okay? Signatures and dates. Then you have to do another one. You can only do them for 6 months at a time, minimum or maximum.
Upload that.
Now, all I have to do though is have the blank one. You keep all the signed ones on site. So in a monitoring visit, we can come and look at them to make sure that you're doing them. Okay? Now, let's say that you have a whole bunch of them that are doing 100% out of Title I. You can put each employee name, and they should have a signature and date on it. And then the principal's signature and date.
So under this one, you said, so we need to just upload one as an example, a blank one?
What you're going to use.
Okay, like we did in the last one.
Right.
Okay.
But again, these are for people that are doing 100% of Title I. Okay. They're doing multiple, then it should be zero. Yes, they should be signed as name also. So, okay. So you should have a signature and a date. Okay. These are done every 6 months. Now, if you don't have anybody that's getting paid 100% out of Title I, then this one is not monitored. Or if all of your people are getting paid 100% out of Title I, and nobody's getting multiple pays, then the other one is not monitored. Okay? You don't have to upload both if you don't have both. Okay. Questions? No? Okay. That one shouldn't be here, it should be with the other one. Yeah. Okay. Equipment. You must keep track of equipment that you purchase with any federal money. Okay? Even if it's less than $5,000 a piece, If it's any kind of equipment that you are using in your schools, then you need to keep track of it. Okay? So it should have a tag on it that says Title I. Purchase this, even if they're Chromebooks, whatever it is, even though they're under supplies and materials now instead of equipment. But if it's any kind of equipment that you plan to use that you're spending federal money with, it must be identified and it must be maintained in a equipment list. That's something we will look at on site to see. We have been known to go around and check to see if you actually have them. And if they're actually tagged.
So can you state one more time, it's equipment?
Is purchased with Title I money. Okay? It does not include furniture.
Actual equipment.
It's actual equipment.
Oh, we're not supposed to buy
Chromebooks, calculators, those kinds of things.
Because they're expensive.
Okay? But it does not include equipment or furniture. I don't want to know how many desks you bought or how many bookcases.
Yeah, the bookcases.
Anything over $5,000.
Right? No, on this list, it's anything that you purchased with Title I money. In your budget on the UCA, it's the equipment that they list down there is, when you put it in that category, it's one item over $5,000. But for this one, it's any item that you purchase with Title I money that is considered equipment. Okay, question? Yeah.
So if I had to purchase something for, I would just keep that in my budgets.
If it's out of Title I money or any federal money, you just have to keep track of it. Yes.
I'm assuming that means like any curriculum sets that they have
No,
as well?
not curriculum and not furniture, just equipment.
Okay.
Curriculum changes too crappily. Changing it all the time. Yeah. But this is not something I'm going to have you upload. This is something that if you have an equipment list, you just say, I have it, we meet requirements. I'm not going to check on it unless we come on site.
That's why it's not on this sheet. Yep. This sheet's only for uploads.
Right. Okay. All right. This says fiscal audit. It says single audit, but it's any audit. So single audits are for those that receive more than $750,000 in federal funds, not in just Title I school funds, but any federal funds. So if your total allocation in federal funds is more than $750,000, then you have to have what they call a single audit. Everybody else should just have an annual audit. And those are things that your BA stuff sends to our fiscal folks, okay? So this is just an audit. So if you've had an audit, you've done this. And again, we're not going to have you upload your audit because you already sent it into this building, but we may ask to look at it when we're on site.
And we just say not monitored, right?
What? No, you've got to have a fiscal audit.
Oh.
Everybody has to have a fiscal audit, whether it's a single audit or just a fiscal audit.
Oh.
Fiscal audit. Okay.
Oh. So if we have a fiscal audit, that would count.
As the single item. Okay.
Yeah.
But
But again, if you have a fiscal audit, that counts. If you have a single audit, that means you receive more than $750,000 in federal funds. All federal funds, not just Title I.
Who does the single audit? How do we know if that, did we just ask our BA? Oh, okay, we'll just ask him.
So we just had one with our special ed department, right? So they came in from outside auditors.
It's an outside auditing firm that comes in and they give you a report, they give you all of that stuff. And that's, excuse me, the LEA submits it to our office. They keep track of it, they go through it, and they give us a message saying, well, you know, so-and-so did this weird thing in their audit. You gotta go check it out. But normally, there's not a whole lot.
So we can just put meets requirement on this one.
I have a problem.
Okay. Fiscal procurement policies. Everybody should have a procurement policy. Okay, so if your LEA has a procurement policy, then this one meets requirements. We look at it on site. And if there's problems with it, then we'll let you know at that time that this part doesn't meet requirements and you may have to adjust it.
Thank you.
Again, this one is just meets requirements. We're not going to have you upload it because I looked at one that was like this thick. And I thought, no, I'm not going to have them upload this. So that's something we look at on site. Okay, meets requirements. No, you still have to go to edit. Okay, that's the last one. So now, if you come back to annual core items, this tells you right here, this is how many meet requirements, this is how many are not monitored. This one has one that's in progress. So that means either we skipped a question and didn't answer it, or we forgot to save it.
We did one on purpose.
Yeah, and I did. I did that. And so when we go to approve it, or when you go to submit it, it'll say, whoops, she can't do this. You've got something that's not. Yeah. I only did it. Yes. Not everything's there.
Questions?
Maybe I haven't uploaded something.
I swear I saved that.
Any other questions, Val?
Well, right now, as Tammy's scrolling down, you can identify which one is still in progress. You can click on it and then go right to it to make sure that it's answered.
So click here.
Yeah. And that'll take you back to the one that you.
And I edited.
So if you don't get the submit button that you want to click on twice, that's why, because something's still in process or progress.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So you got it all done now? Ready to submit?
One thing I wanted to comment on is that if any of you need extra time to update your parent-family engagement policy, let me know. You can call me, talk to me, email me, or just tell me in the DMI, say, this is how much time we anticipate it will take. Some of you have a rough draft that you want to upload to the DMI, that's fine. Okay, so I understand that some of you are just shifting now from involvement to engagement, and that's going to require time if you want to include parents, which is mandatory. So you have time, just let me know and we'll just work out the timeline. We did want to check on the homeless set aside just to make sure that we were clear on that. Becky checked on that. So she's going to talk about that.
I sent a message to Jeff Ojeda. Jeff is our homeless education specialist. And charter schools do have to set aside funding in your Title I application to serve homeless students. But the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act is a separate education act in and of itself, But in the Every Student Succeeds Act, it is also Title VII Part B of ESSA. It is a requirement for any public school that accepts Title I funding. Whether it's charter or a regular district school, that is a requirement. Now, and you're required to set aside at least that minimum per pupil allocation amount. Now, you may have times when you don't really need to use that funding because you don't have homeless students that particular year. And if that's the case, at the end of that year, then you can repurpose that money and use it for some other allowable Title I expense. But you do have to set it aside so that if you do have homeless students that need services, you have some funding set aside to serve those students. So we just wanted to make sure that was clear. Jeff is away at another, I think at the migrant education meeting today over at the Jordan Auxiliary Building, but we wanted to make sure that there was not confusion on that particular requirement. Any questions about that? Okay, thank you. I'll turn it back then to Val.
Okay, so let's just review our 3 main points for preventing problems. How many criteria questions did we answer?
All of them.
All of them. We leave nothing in the none. Nothing in the none. The next one is how many we hit what button for everything? Save. And then the last thing is how many times is are we going to have to click submitted? Twice. Finish it out. Let's have some closure here. And if you want to stick around, many of us are available to help out. Some of you finished. Some of you know you have work to do, but you know how to do it. And confirm.
Better go
There's
back
our
and
second
fix that
submit
one.
button. Maybe. Thanks so much for taking the time out. And Sandy and I are available for you to call us tomorrow if you get going on this again. Thank you very much for being here.
Val, do you know how long you're in Never mind. Oh, you can look at last year. Yep. But then you can see some teaching, but I'm not just still
So last
year, I keep going back to can you do everything I said yes or no or such?
So first of all, we used to do all our food.
And I will just recreate
All the kids. I'm serious.
You're the new way. We're going to tell you what I told
So the bad news is this is on. There's much good stuff that happens. So we went through a couple years of so they put the we do our food. Kids still apply.
And open classroom has one.
So I don't know.
So this is
I've already said a couple. So last year we got
Monday.
to lunch program and trying to get us that. Last year we were right below 10. What we talked about agenda item. So this year, already voted. Just to some of those students. The second thing is, I just chose not to. They're going to do that again. We're going to wait the water refill.
So the question was, since the Sandra Dow was, can you wait it 1 year, given that we're already gonna do those two things, which we think.
Yeah, this
I
think
I've never been to.
So on that, when I do DMI, do I call myself a targeted assistant? Call myself a school life.
Call it the parts.
I don't know if there's
There's a concept.
you say your grandfather.
It's just what our district uses policy or an individual.
Okay.
I hate to.
He doesn't form all
I give you enough.
That might be our best bet.
For one.
Remember, you gotta do all this December 1st, then you gotta
Have all this stuff done.
have a trifold with you next year that has family engagement.
She'll have it all.
All that stuff should be in place somewhere.
But the one thing that's.
We were supposed to use it this year, but I didn't know that. So I do have one school that's done it, so.
I probably go, Lord, remember that everybody know that.
I mean, I definitely want to.
Yeah.
Modify it so that there's.
Yeah, I'll be happy to, because it's like.
Well, we think it's more effective than not a big change.
Wow.
That's so nice to ask me, but
Especially a lot of our Title I schools.
thank you. That way, I can always have an issue for someone who wants to go the ways. I can see one of my teachers say,
Have you going?
She's cold.
okay, and I'll get back to you. Thanks, bye.
When they got it,
And then that way, you know, replace
students being added to the special school.
Now, if our schools are on funds, next year, we're still on funds, and I have received
Next year, 11.
And so,
I'm not sure you know.
honestly, they got six.
You don't know that they didn't exit it out.
Changes in Brian.
I'll check, we've got a new focus person, she's got it.
Well, I hope we can get
Out
back.
there while you're trying to get.
Oh, she's coming again.
Discussed it for 2 years. And last year it was a big issue, but
I've been going in.
I kept hoping we could get those numbers from Granite, but just won't budge. It's difficult. Hey,
American
the other thing is I asked her, I don't, sometimes I can be a, don't like to be all the time.
Annual course.
So when we request records, we are not getting records. We're getting immunization and birth certificate. And the latest grades, we are not So I went to Cottonwood and I talked to Cottonwood and I said, okay, get a student, say from Monville, how do you do it? Well, we log into Discover and we can look it up on Discover because it's scanned. Yes. And I can't. This computer, I'm gonna keep looking.
Choose the file. I think it says right here.
I'm a robot.
So
I've never done
you go
that.
like this.
Again, the testing. Both based on
Remember last year, in the very beginning,
Oh, because we kept saying
It says at schools.us.
Right, it just shows right here.
It's there, right?
I usually get this. It's not going to the
Balance is close to
I don't.
zero, but not. Even though you are not seeing it, it would get into this context. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. Yes.
Well, they named it that.
I know, that's when you felt like I could see it, and I'm like, hey,
We can ask. Okay, yeah, because I just saw messages under her checklist, but I didn't ever look at it. So, yeah, I thought they were hers, but I never was yeah, because it just kept saying that.
This is due December 1st, right?
December 1st, and then I would start with my.
Maybe I did, but I said I knew. Then you would have to.
Very similar to that.
Okay, so now you submit it, but it has to go to the
Lucky now.
All right, no, I kept looking at it going, okay, because I knew others didn't approve. So, all right.
That's where we're meeting.
Oh, I know, looks like Title II's got a bunch.
Do you know what it is? That was.
Oh, it's not bad, it's reviewed.
So you have this submitted. All right.
So
She's going through.
Or Title II? Yes. Okay. All right, okay, great, thank you. No, that helps me a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just need two screens to
Download it out of my drive.
Oh, yeah.
Have a Title I, which I find money, but it's not like somewhere to sign anything there. Yeah. So.
Like a whole.
Yes.
Sure.
That's where I was going. Show me. I don't want to messages.
Stay away. That is what my job
So Julian just said, I have a question that
What she talked about, no, that's
I don't
She said
know,
she
right?
wants another audit.
I'm like, oh,
So this is 17.
And then like you start minus.
So I just need to update the date.
Yes, okay, yes.
Kind of explain. I'm trying to actually, and so they had to give that to me. And I was waiting for the sheet that was last in there for superintendent, and I didn't know which one. So, okay. So I just had to change that one there. No, I went back and forth.
They all.
So that we thought I was like, here to make a copy of that. Oh, yeah, okay, so I had my graduation. Oh, I'm trying to make you a copy of graduation. I wasn't in.
I want to try that. Safety is
Okay.
You don't have to spend it, you can use that money for FTE. That's what I did. But you can, like, I want to make sure the rest of the time is not like.
You don't have to. Well, you have to. Yeah. I do it right. I work so hard on it. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll go back in and make
So
those
is that
then.
is that the only thing?
No, well, no, and then there's,
I'm gonna go back and talk to Wade.
Yeah, funding. Yeah, I talked to her.
Yeah.
We know we're gonna do somewhere,
Oh.
but I'm not sure.
I want to. I want to just like the questions. And stuff. I just don't want to mark it.
That's what I did.
Stuff like that. So I know what I mean. So I'm gonna see what he did, just so I don't screw it up. I whacked a lot out of this.
I'm not going in.
Just leave this, and then I can come back to it.
Sorry, I screwed them up.
And even if I don't answer those for you, I know you've got to answer all of them. I get that. So just hit save, and that will answer the ones that I already have. And then I can come back and do that.
You only have one school. It's only your school.
It's the element, yeah.
Yeah, you're the principal and the Title I.
I'm actually the counselor.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, but I'm doing my admin right now.
So this got put on you.
But I was at Morgan for 20 years.
Still don't know it. We're getting there.
And I'll get all this stuff now. I'll get it now. I need to know. I actually worked with him when he was a Morgan last year. 10 years. So.
What's going on there?
Actually, what it did is about this.
It's not the same. So I started in Wade jumped more son. I jumped more son. Eric Reese, I know, but Eric Reese jumped up there. There's like four or five of us, maybe six of us, that in the last 3 years. And that doesn't happen.
That creates big.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it is. And they're opening a new school in town next year. So it's, I don't know how they're going to do it. I'll be honest with you.
Thank you later.
Not every insurance is crazy. Okay. I don't want to. Superintendents. I think everything starts there. He's a great guy. He just kind of got some different ideas.
That reminded me of one thing on your criteria questions. If you're only one school,
I don't know how it was. I want to keep it to I don't know how it was actually.
Does that work? Yeah.
Not all.
It is, and you just look, I just found that I'm using different violations myself because.
so you're not sure if your school is focused on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I should know that.
Yeah, and there's,
So you should be in draft start.
yeah, I've emailed her stuff.
Is we are scheduled for an on-site. It is on-site March 5th.
Okay, so then I can go back in.
And then, did you know?
Of how private schools make the changes.
I can check
My budget.
I don't think so.
Unity.
I don't think we have any private schools. I'm almost sure we don't.
Next page, right?
The place to check, and I don't think you can see
And then save it, and then make sure you're, that's the simple.
Okay.
and then just resubmit it.
Okay.
And it
At least yours tells you.
All right. I took the
That's a
ones out
positive.
because I came from last year's and I copied them over.
Yeah.
Make sure that, oh my gosh, Power BI. And then
Okay.
are you LJ?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
And changing the data was emails.
Yeah.
And I get all the numbers in and then
I think that's what I did. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
See how it's done.
And then do I have to go, I need to go in back to, around the system, right? Or, no, I don't need to change it.
So that's fixed.
It's the same as UCA.
But yeah, it was. So I give the 2,000 in the other to be in there.
Then you can leave that in there if you just say.
Okay, all right.
Just need to look up for one.
Okay, you're good. Thank you.
We have to bounce it back.
All right, so I just leave it in there.
Always comprehensive, always says.
Okay, all right, I'll go back and put that in there. Thank you.
So this would be,
How am I fine? So good. How are you doing? I'm doing okay.
Good girl. That's great. Yeah, you're right, it's almost 90,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
this is a no.
They've been traveling all over and
Got another grandbaby.
well, they're focused not to go in time. That's what you're good on.
Yeah.
They already fine.
So that was fun. Is he,
Do you have Title I school?
he worked for
So
But it's, you're the one who asked them what's behind that back and just say your data.
So mark this back none, just so I don't screw it up.
No, she actually did a separate town. So he actually retired from here.
Okay, so I'll ask him.
Yeah.
So, and then I will try to remember between here and my
Such a
desk.
nice guy.
Yeah.
I'll email you.
Okay, perfect.
I'll email you. Sandra said email you and her. Just if any changes. I want to add one more thing. I could ask the director at Parks and Rec.
Oh, no, I prefer you tell me because I have a spreadsheet and I'll email you documents and stuff. Great idea. So yeah, it's no problem to email me.
That would be great.
Kind of regions have the nine people
I don't want to go off the
Put it in the other one, you pulled through. Park it over on the other side.
Did you? Okay,
Put through the park.
Thank you.
I just parked outside.
I know what I need to do.
So do they allow us to park in here?
Yeah, so that lady upstairs. So she's like, yeah, and I'm like, you doing good? She's like, yeah. Okay.
So I'm just trying that to check, but.
So anyway, so,
Okay, so you're not gonna drive.
I'm sure they'll deny our.
Go to China. Oh, yeah. They're still gonna look at things.
But it's kind of, well, no, it's sort of kind of.
I mean, you know,
What's going to be.
You know, it's your curriculum really doing what you want to do.
Okay, see ya, good to see ya.
See ya.
You know, it's your curriculum that you want to do.
like the fastest way to do it.
Yeah.
And what do you do? So it's more of a, let's get in and see what you're actually doing.
Yeah, but some class, I thought you had to
Yeah, I'm just like,
but that's good, I can make myself in that too. Yeah.
Because he told me.
Okay.
said, so put all the receipts in for October, you know, so it'll be.
So to find our website.
All professional development.
And then all of those kind of
That's what
a year and a half.
I don't think it's gonna work. She was still in here.
Super good, like what he's
No. Trying to fix it.
Shan was
I don't have to worry about it. Our lawyer has spent years doing it. Okay.
What time is that?
Are you guys just coming to make sure that?
Fireballs.
Yes.
I wondered how long everything got.
my percentage is like 12 to 14%. Are you kidding me?
Take care of it.
No, he's White Cat Electricity.
Our role is, in order to make a rule, we have to do a request for information from the members of the site. Through September 30th, because we're looking at the awarded. And so,
I forgot to ask you.
Which equals 20%. There you go.
She moved down with my sister.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, we try to meet more in our
Where it begins.
Great. Yeah. You can get some of those yummy apples at the Red Barn.
We did, because I've been on your request for years, so it probably.
When you're on,
remember
so it's fine with me, I just want to make sure. I was just like, okay, I gotta mark it, so it's not a problem.
Oh, yeah, now we didn't make it.
That was the.
So basically,
Yeah. It's to make sure everything's equitable.
So you have to have the policy.
Make sure that there's a lot of
okay.
These are the
We're targeted as.
You'll get to know.
I know, I
So happy. Most of ours are
Just when we upload it, I'll look at it.
Okay, they're up to look at it.
Because I'll look at them side by side, that's what I'll be doing.
I see.
I'll make sure you did what you said.
That's key, and that's always a key. That's always important.
Not what?
No, I'm saying after we already discussed everything.
So,
Okay, honorable. We need one, so we worked on that last spring, sent it to you, and you said that would work. So that's fine. Okay. So,
She's been around this zillion years.
but to do the first drawing,
They like those.
yeah.
People are really nice. Well,
I'm like,
wait.
I know, we've been trying to get together.
Have you been?
Hopefully, we're gonna get together the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
I understand it. September 30th. What fiscal year, and then what?
It was on,
It's all tied up from.
yeah, I haven't even classed. I'm barely going. It wouldn't let me upload, so now we figured out why that was, since we had to swap
It's gotta be able
some
to say
things, so I'm
that
like texting.
this is our plan.
Now it's letting me upload, so.
But you feel like
Barely
it's how we're gonna be
yeah.
funded.
I watched
So
it
in
last
the
year.
event all schools, then we'll do this.
all schools are
registrar.
registrar.
And then also,
registrar.
the LA receipt time.
We're gonna write
this, and if it's only one school, then
I
like this.
was like, hi.
Hopefully it matches.
It's me.
Okay. I know, and she'll let us, that's the nice part about it.
Zane doesn't like how.
Okay.
Certainly try anyway.
Yeah, no kidding.
He preferred just keeping it simple.
I see him not look there. I'm gonna stay out of there. I got us there today.
I got this out of I never made it to IEP prison, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Prison might not be as nice.
Of course, if all these guys are there, we'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
They're super nice. Thank you.
See ya.
See you, Val.
Chris.
Bye, see Shirley.
What time period
On
for
Miss
the
Sandy.
drawdown?
Oh, yeah,
And which
always.
accounts, which year and account?
Thank you for your help. I know
Provide
that's
you
not
with the
the
receipts or documentation
That's okay.
to upload with your request for
I bet.
reimbursement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because
I
want us to get out of the practice of fixing people and fixing their systems, because they gotta fix it themselves.
Yes.
Do you need your cord?
That's one thing that I
just
want to
saw
caution you with doing that binder. I'm really worried about that. You know, how you and Chris are doing that binder. That really should be their office. That shouldn't be us. They should be consulting us, get feedback from us. Request, like I think it's good to request that meeting to do that.
The purchase orders?
Yeah, that's good to get everybody on the same line, but they have to decide what they want us to do.
Yes.
And then we all do the same thing, because the more we take away from him, the more he'll be willing to give up.
Yep.
Nope, we're good.
And I made it clear that we're not looking to change, we're not looking to be the head of this. We just would like to make sure that everybody else.
I'm doing that, just saying, I just need to know what you need.
I do for my meeting.
Thanks, Val.
Because what we want to do is initiate the conversation, so we don't forget about it.
Yeah, the way you're walking. You needed that surgery last night.
I did. I needed it on Monday.
Hi.
Thanks, Sandy.